What I'm about to tell you could change everything about how women see you. Forever. 5 secrets, 5 truths every man must guard with his life. And here's the thing. The order matters. I'm saving the most important one for last. The one that, if revealed, will destroy how she sees you faster than anything else. Do you want to know why the strongest men in history were also the most mysterious? Why Alexander the Great commanded respect before he even spoke? Why women are still fascinated by men they can't quite figure out? Because mystery is power. And today, you're going to learn exactly what to keep locked away. Most men think vulnerability is strength. They've been told to open up and share everything. But here's the brutal truth. There's a difference between being authentic and bleeding all over someone who never asked to be your therapist. We live in an age of oversharing, men posting their every thought on social media, confessing their deepest wounds on first dates, treating their partners like emotional dumping grounds. And then they wonder why attraction dies, why respect evaporates, why she starts seeing them as weak. The Roman emperors knew better. The Spartan warriors understood. The samurai had a code. There are things a man takes to his grave, not because he's dishonest, but because he understands that some truths destroy more than they heal. Think about this. Why do you think women are obsessed with the strong, silent type? It's not because he's emotionally unavailable. It's because he's emotionally sovereign. He owns his struggles. He fights his battles internally. He emerges victorious without needing an audience for his war. Ready? Let's start with the first secret. Secret number 1, your financial details. Never reveal the exact numbers in your bank account. Not your salary, not your debts, not your investments, not your credit score, not what you paid for your car. Nothing. Why? Because the moment you put a number on your worth, she starts calculating. Not because she's gold digging, but because humans can't help but measure once they know the metrics. You become a number, a figure, a calculation, a spreadsheet. Marcus Aurelius, the richest man in Rome, never flaunted his wealth. He understood that true power comes from what others imagine, not what they know. When people don't know your exact worth, they imagine it based on how you carry yourself. And imagination is always more powerful than reality. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine you tell her you make $150,000 a year. Sounds impressive, right? Wrong. Now she knows exactly where you stand. She compares you to her friend's boyfriend, who makes $200,000. She calculates how much you should be saving. She wonders why you're not driving a better car if you make that much, or she feels inadequate because she makes less. Either way, you've created a problem that didn't need to exist, but imagine instead you simply live well. You handle bills without stress. You invest in experiences. You never complain about money, but you also never flaunt it. What happens? She creates a story in her mind. You become the man who has his finances handled. That's infinitely more attractive than being the $150,000 guy. Think about the greatest business magnates. Do you think Rockefeller went around telling everyone his net worth at dinner parties? Do you think Carnegie opened his books to every woman he met? Number. They let their presence speak, their confidence, their lack of financial stress. Here's another scenario. You're dating someone new. Things are going well. She asks about your student loans. You tell her you owe $75,000. What happens in her mind? Suddenly, she's calculating how long it'll take you to pay it off, whether you can afford a house, whether you're financially responsible. You've just turned yourself from a man of potential into a man with a number hanging over his head. What do you say instead when she asks about money? I'm building something important. Financial freedom is part of the journey, but it's not the destination. I believe in living below my means and investing in my future. The details aren't as important as the direction. Money is a tool, not a scorecard. I use it wisely. Keep the numbers to yourself. Let your actions speak. Let your lifestyle show discipline, not digits. Be the man who clearly has his finances together without ever revealing what those finances actually are. That's true power. Secret number 2. Your past betrayals and heartbreaks. That ex who cheated on you with your best friend, the business partner who stole your idea and made millions, the father who walked out when you were 12, the friend group that turned their backs on you. She doesn't need to know. She should never know. Listen, every man has been betrayed. Every warrior has scars. But the moment you reveal how deeply someone hurt you, she starts seeing you as a victim, not a survivor, not a warrior, a victim. Women are attracted to men who overcome, not men who were overcome. Seneca lost everything, his wealth, his position, nearly his life, to betrayal. Did he spend his days recounting his wounds? Number. He rebuilt. He wrote. He influenced emperors. His power came from his resurrection, not his crucifixion. Let me tell you what happens when you share that story about your ex who destroyed you. You think you're showing her that you can be vulnerable, that you trust her. But here's what actually happens in her subconscious mind. She starts wondering if you're really over it. She questions whether you'll trust her or always be looking for signs of betrayal. She sees you as someone who can be broken. And worst of all, she starts comparing herself to this woman who had such power over you. Consider Napoleon, betrayed by his generals, his country, exiled twice. When he returned from Elba, did he give speeches about how hurt he was? Number. He simply said, "I have come to reclaim my crown." That's strength. That's the energy of a man who refuses to be defined by his betrayals. Imagine this scenario. You're 3 months into dating someone incredible. One night, after a few drinks, you tell her about how your business partner screwed you over, took everything, left you with nothing. You explain how it took you 2 years to recover, how you couldn't trust anyone, how it nearly broke you. You think you're being open. But watch what happens over the next few weeks. She starts seeing you differently. When you make business decisions, she wonders if you're being naive again. When you trust someone new, she questions your judgment. You're no longer the confident entrepreneur. You're the guy who got played. The samurai had a concept called kao, face, reputation, honor. They understood that some wounds, once revealed, could never be hidden again. Your reputation in her eyes is everything. Once she sees you as someone who was deeply hurt, who was a victim, she can never fully unsee it. What do you say when past relationships or betrayals come up? Every experience taught me something valuable. I focus on where I'm going, not where I've been. The past is just data. I learned what I needed to learn and moved forward. I don't carry old stories. Life's too short to live in reverse. Your scars are your story, but they're not her burden to carry. They're not her wounds to heal. You're not looking for a nurse. You're looking for a queen. And queens want kings, not wounded soldiers. Secret number 3, your number of past partners. This is a trap with no right answer. Too many? You're a player who can't commit. Too few? You're inexperienced. The exact right number? It doesn't exist. The moment you give her a number, her mind starts creating stories. She imagines every one of them, compares herself, wonders if she's just another number, wonders what you did with them that you're not doing with her, wonders if she measures up. Do you want to know what King Leonidas told his men before the Battle of Thermopylae? Give them nothing, but take from them everything. Give her nothing to calculate. Take from her everything. Her full attention to who you are now, not who you were with before. Here's what men don't understand. When she asks about your number, she's not looking for information. She's looking for security. She wants to know she's special. But the moment you give her a number, you've made her a statistic. Think about it. You tell her you've been with 3 women. Now she's wondering if you're experienced enough, if you know what you're doing, if she's going to have to teach you everything. You tell her 30. Now she's wondering if she's just another conquest, if you can really commit, if you're comparing her to all the others. Julius Caesar was famous for his romantic conquests. But do you think he sat around discussing his previous lovers with Cleopatra? Number. He made her feel like she was the only woman who had ever existed. That's the art. I'll tell you a story. A friend of mine, successful entrepreneur, dating a fantastic woman. She asked the question. He thought honesty was the best policy. Told her his number, 42. He thought she'd appreciate his honesty. Within 3 months, the relationship was over. Not because she judged him, but because she couldn't stop thinking about it. Every time they were intimate, she wondered what number she was. Every time he complimented her, she wondered if he'd said the same thing to the others. The number doesn't matter. What matters is that you're choosing to be with her now. But the moment you quantify your past, you diminish your present. Think about this. James Bond never talks about his previous missions. That mystery is part of his power. The unknown is always more powerful than the known. When you don't reveal your number, you remain the man of mystery. The man with a past, but not imprisoned by it. Here's another consideration. Your number changes how she behaves. If it's low, she might hold back, not wanting to seem too experienced. If it's high, she might try to compete, to prove she's different. Either way, you've corrupted the natural dynamic. What's your response when she asks about your past? I've had meaningful experiences that shaped who I am. But right now, I'm focused on creating something special with the right person. I don't keep score. Every connection is unique. I'm interested in quality, not quantity. The past is the past. I'm more interested in exploring what we have right here. Let her imagination fill in the blanks. It will always be more powerful than any number you could give. Be the book she can't put down, not the one she's already read. Secret number 4. Your deepest insecurities. That voice in your head telling you you're not tall enough, not successful enough, not attractive enough. The fear that you're falling behind your peers. The worry that you don't measure up to her ex. The panic that you're not man enough. Lock it away. Forever. Take it to your grave. Here's what most men don't understand. Sharing your deepest insecurities doesn't make her feel closer to you. It makes her feel responsible for you. And attraction cannot coexist with maternal instinct. The moment she sees you as someone who needs reassurance, who needs validation, who needs her to tell you you're enough, you stop being her man and start being her project. You stop being her oak tree and start being her bonsai. Something small that needs constant tending. Epictetus was a slave born into chains. But did he walk around telling everyone about his insecurities of being born into bondage? Number. He focused on what he could control, his mind, his reactions, his philosophy. He became so powerful that emperors sought his wisdom. Marcus Aurelius himself studied his teachings. Your insecurities are your battle, your war to fight, not hers. Let me tell you what happens when you confess that deep insecurity. Let's say you tell her you've always felt like you're not smart enough, that you struggle with imposter syndrome, that you feel like a fraud at work. You think you're being vulnerable. But here's what happens. Every time you get a promotion, she wonders if you really deserved it or if you're just lucky. Every time you make a decision, she questions if it's coming from confidence or compensation. Every achievement becomes tainted with the memory of your confession. She's not attracted to perfection, but she's attracted to a man who handles his imperfections with strength, who faces his demons alone and comes out victorious. Theodore Roosevelt was a sickly child, weak, asthmatic. Doctors said he wouldn't live to adulthood. Did he make this his identity? Number. He built his body in private. He became a boxer, a hunter, a rough rider. He faced down charging bulls and survived assassination attempts. He transformed himself in silence and presented only the result. Here's a harsh truth. The moment you reveal your deepest insecurity, it becomes the lens through which she sees everything about you. Insecure about your height? Now every time you're assertive, she wonders if you're compensating. Worried about your career? Now every work story sounds like you're trying too hard. Imagine you tell her you've always felt like you're not attractive enough, that you were the ugly kid in school, that you still see that person in the mirror. What happens? She starts looking for it. She starts seeing you through that lens. She starts wondering why you think that, looking for the flaws you see. You've literally programmed her to see you as less attractive. Do you know what happens when you share your deepest insecurity? She can never unsee it. Every time you walk into a room, she remembers. Every time you make a decision, she wonders if it's coming from that place of insecurity. What do you say when conversations get deep and emotional? Everyone has challenges they're working through. I believe in facing mine head-on and growing stronger from them. I'm always working on becoming a better version of myself. That's a private journey. We all have our battles. I fight mine in silence and win them in private. Show her your strength, not your struggles. Show her the sword, not the wound. Show her the crown, not the weight of it. Secret number 5, your biggest fears. This is it, the most important secret. The one that will fundamentally change how she sees you if you reveal it. This is the one that matters most. Your deepest, most primal fears. Fear of failure, fear of not being enough, fear of death, fear of being abandoned, fear of being alone, fear of not leaving a legacy, fear of being forgotten, fear of being weak, fear of losing everything. The moment you reveal your biggest fear, you hand her a weapon she never asked for. Not because she'll use it against you, most won't, but because she'll always know where you're weak. She'll always know what keeps you up at night. She'll always know what could break you. And here's the brutal truth. Women need to believe you're not afraid. Not because you're superhuman, but because if you're afraid, who's going to protect her when she's afraid? Alexander the Great conquered the known world by age 30. Do you think he told his soldiers he was afraid before battle? Do you think he confessed his fears to his generals? Number. He projected absolute certainty. And that certainty inspired armies to follow him to the edge of the world. When he faced war elephants for the first time, massive beasts that could crush a man with one step, his men looked to him. Had he shown fear, his empire would have crumbled in that moment. Fear is human. Every man feels it. But the moment you vocalize your deepest fears, you shatter the illusion of your strength. And relationships need some illusions to survive. Listen to me carefully. She has enough fears of her own. Fear of aging, fear of not being enough, fear of being alone, fear of making the wrong choice. She doesn't need to carry yours too. She needs to believe that you're the storm shelter, not another storm. Miyamoto Musashi, the greatest samurai who ever lived, wrote, "The true warrior understands that fear is just a feeling, and feelings are just weather passing through the sky of consciousness." He faced over 60 duels to the death. You think he didn't feel fear? But he never spoke it. He transformed it into power. Here's what happens when you reveal your deepest fear. Let's say you tell her you're terrified of ending up like your father, broken, divorced, alcoholic. You think you're showing her your motivation to be better. But what she hears is that you carry that potential darkness within you. Every time you have a drink, she watches. Every time you argue, she wonders if this is the beginning. Every struggle becomes a sign that you're becoming what you fear. Or imagine you tell her your biggest fear is losing everything, your money, your success, your status. Now every business decision you make looks like desperation. Every risk looks like gambling. Every setback looks like the beginning of the end. She stops seeing you as ambitious and starts seeing you as afraid. Winston Churchill faced the potential destruction of Britain. the entire weight of Western civilization on his shoulders. Did he broadcast his fears? Number. He said, "We shall never surrender." His private papers, released decades later, showed he was terrified. But in the moment, he was the rock that a nation stood upon. This doesn't mean be a robot. This doesn't mean never show emotion. But your deepest, most fundamental fears, those stay with you. You process them alone. You conquer them alone. You emerge stronger, and she sees only the victory, not the battle. Think about the psychology here. When you're afraid and you don't show it, you become powerful in her eyes. You become the man who can handle anything. But when you confess your fears, you become human in the wrong way. You become fallible, breakable, defeatable. What's your response when she asks what you're afraid of? Fear is just information. I use it to know where I need to grow stronger. I don't focus on fears. I focus on what I'm building. Everyone faces challenges. I choose to see them as opportunities to become stronger. I learned long ago that fear is just a compass pointing toward growth. That's strength. That's mystery. That's attractive. 5 secrets. 5 boundaries. 5 ways to maintain your mystery and your power. Remember this. You are not a book to be read. You are a fortress to be respected. Not every room needs to be opened. Not every story needs to be told. Not every battle scar needs to be explained. The strongest men in history understood this. They knew that revelation is weakness, but mystery is magnetic. They knew that the mind fills unknowns with whatever it wants to see. And in a woman's mind, the unknown you becomes the ideal you. We live in an age where men have been systematically weakened by the myth of vulnerability as strength. Look around. Divorce rates at all-time highs. Respect for men at all-time lows. Women complaining that they can't find real men anymore. You know why? Because real men have been convinced to act like open wounds instead of fortresses. Does this mean never be vulnerable? Number. It means be strategic. Share your dreams, not your demons. Share your visions, not your victims. Share your strength, not your struggles. Share your plans, not your panic. She fell for the man she couldn't quite figure out, the one who seemed to have depths she couldn't quite reach, the one who kept her guessing, the one who maintained his mystery even in intimacy. Don't hand her a map to every corner of your soul. Let her discover you slowly, if at all. Think about it. The most attractive man in any room is the one who seems to know something others don't, who seems to have experienced things others haven't, who seems to carry secrets that make him more interesting than any story he could tell. Mystery is power. Silence is strength. Self-mastery is irresistible. The modern world will tell you to share everything, to be an open book, to have no secrets, to communicate everything. But the modern world has also created the weakest generation of men in history. Men who cry on first dates, men who trauma dump on social media, men who treat their girlfriends like therapists, and then wonder why they get dumped. You want to be different? You want to command respect? You want to maintain attraction? You want to be the man she can't stop thinking about? Then master the art of the unsaid, the power of the unknown, the strength of silence. Guard these 5 secrets with your life, because the moment they're revealed, you can never take them back, and she'll never see you the same way again. Once you've shown her where you bleed, she'll always know where to find the wound. Remember, the strongest man in the room is often the quietest. The most powerful energy is contained energy. The most attractive quality is the one she can't quite define. You're not hiding who you are. You're protecting your power. You're maintaining your mystery. You're being the man she can't stop thinking about precisely because she can't figure you out completely. This is the way of kings, of emperors, of warriors, of men who understand that some doors should never be opened, some words should never be spoken, and some secrets should go to the grave. Master this, and you master the game. Master this, and you become unforgettable. Master this, and you become the kind of man women write about in their journals, trying to figure out, trying to understand, but never quite able to fully grasp. If this hit home, subscribe. There's more truth coming that most men aren't ready to hear. But you're not most men, are you? Stay strong, stay mysterious, stay unbreakable. The fortress stands. The mystery remains. The man endures.